Hello and welcome to What the F Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis, let's get to it. It's Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021. Welcome to day 14. House impeachment managers accused Trump of whipping the crowd in Washington, D.C. on January 6th into a frenzy and then aiming them like a loaded cannon at the U.S. Capitol. In a memorandum filed ahead of Trump's second impeachment trial, the House's 9 impeachment managers said Trump was singularly responsible for the riot, accusing him of a betrayal of historic proportions. They added that Trump's responsibility for the events of January 6 is unmistakable and that his abuse of office threatened and injured our democratic order, and his conduct endangered the life of every single member of Congress, jeopardized the peaceful transition of power and line of succession, and compromised our national security. Trump's lawyers denied that he sought to subvert the election results and incite the deadly assault on the Capitol, arguing that the trial is unconstitutional because he is already out of office. In a 14-page response to the House's impeachment charge, Trump's attorneys argued that Trump did not incite the crowd on January 6 to engage in destructive behavior, and instead suggested that the case was substantially flawed and should be dismissed. Trump's lawyers also denied that he was factually in error when he claimed that he had won the election in a landslide, claiming that insufficient evidence exists upon which a reasonable jurist could conclude that the 45th president's statement were accurate or not, and he therefore denies they were false. Moving on, the Biden administration will distribute COVID-19 vaccine doses to retail pharmacies across the nation. Biden's team said they would begin shipping roughly 1 million doses per week to about 6,500 pharmacies nationwide as a trial run. White House COVID-19 response coordinator Jeff Zients also announced that the administration will increase the weekly allocation of vaccines going to states by 5%, bringing the weekly total shipment of vaccines to 10.5 million per week. Meanwhile, Biden will form a task force to reunite families that were separated at the southern border under Trump's zero-tolerance immigration policy, which an administration official called a moral failing. Biden will also sign 2 other executive orders authorizing a review of Trump's immigration policies that limited asylum and slowed down legal immigration into the U.S. A senior administration official said Trump was so focused on the wall, he did nothing to address the root causes of why people are coming to our southern border. It was a limited, wasteful, and naive strategy, and it failed. People continue to migrate to the United States even today because of it. President Biden's approach is to deal with immigration comprehensively, fairly, and humanely. Meanwhile, the Senate confirmed Alejandro Mayorkas as the new Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, making him the first Latino and the first immigrant to lead DHS. Despite opposition from Senate Republicans, Mayorkas was confirmed with a vote of 56 to 43. DHS has not had a Senate-confirmed secretary since April 2019, when Trump ousted Kirstjen Nielsen. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, meanwhile, dismissed hundreds of members of the Pentagon's policy advisory boards, including the Trump administration's last-minute nominees. Austin fired all members serving on the DoD's advisory boards and directed the immediate suspension of all committee operations while the Pentagon completes a zero-based review of at least 42 defense advisory committees to be completed by June. Last week, Austin suspended the onboarding process for Trump administration nominees to Pentagon advisory boards. The Senate also confirmed Pete Buttigieg as Transportation Secretary, making him the first openly gay cabinet secretary. Buttigieg was confirmed with bipartisan support by a margin of 86 to 13. Meanwhile, Mitch McConnell likened Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene's loony lies and conspiracy theories to a cancer on the Republican Party. While McConnell did not mention Greene by name in his 3-sentence statement, Greene responded on Twitter, writing that the real cancer for the Republican Party is weak Republicans who only know how to lose gracefully. McConnell also released a statement defending Representative Liz Cheney, who has come under fire for voting to impeach Trump last month. And finally, a post-mortem by Trump's chief pollster shows that Trump lost the 2020 election largely due to his handling of the coronavirus pandemic and voter perception that he wasn't honest or trustworthy. Trump also lost ground with every age group in the 2020 election compared to 2016, but he had his greatest erosion with white voters, particularly white men. It's unclear if Trump has seen the 27-page report prepared by Tony Fabrizio.
That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Anditas.